Thanks, everybody. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Ricky Camilleri. Our next guest is one of the stars of the biggest movies coming out right now. Of course, I'm talking about Terminator: Dark Fate. In it, Diego Boneta plays the brother of a new generation's John Connor. Let's take a look at Terminator: Dark Fate. Everybody, please welcome Diego Boneta. Let's hear it. Hey. Thanks so much for being here, man.
What's up?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Congrats on getting yourself into the Terminator world. That's amazing. How did that happen?
Man, after many months of auditioning, it was actually really funny because at first they wouldn't tell us what the project was. I mean, we knew it was Terminator, but we didn't know exactly what it, if it was, if James Cameron was involved. Like all the details that we know now, we did not know back then. And I was shooting a Netflix show by the name of Luis Miguel, playing this Latin singer. And so I was all tan and, 80s hair and long hair and the tooth gap. And when I Skyped with Tim, they showed him the pictures of how I normally look like. And I could see him getting really, really uncomfortable when we first got on Skype. He was almost like, yeah, that's not the guy that, that they told me, right? I was like, no, it is me. I'm just playing someone else. And it was a funny, it was just a funny thing for people who saw the show. Then
how many times did you have to audition?
Probably 4 or 5 different times, and it took us maybe 3 or 4 months to find out.
Wow. So you auditioned for, how often does that happen?
A lot.
You audition 3 to 5 times, and then it takes months to find out, and sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, that's kind of what, I think that's one of the toughest things of being an actor is dealing with rejection and, coming close to a lot of movies that you love and people that you want to work with and, caring enough to do a good job when you're in the room, but then being able to detach from whatever it is that you're doing once you leave, and...
But usually if you audition up to five times or something, you're fairly close to getting it.
You're very close.
Right.
Yeah, and there's been many movies, like I could tell you like different things that I've been like this close and it didn't happen. And like you just have to really trust that there's very little that's in your control. And you can only worry about what's under your control and just go in and be, do the best thing you can in the room, and then know that if it's meant to be, it'll happen. And it's always been the case. Like looking back, you go, wow, if it's meant to be, this was meant to be, and that's it. It's really that simple.
Right. You can't look at it any other way. If you do, you'll just drive yourself crazy.
Yeah. And I did drive myself crazy for many years when I first moved here, and then you just kind of, get used to it, and you go, this is just how the game works, and I'm happy this time it worked out. I couldn't be more thrilled to, have worked with James Cameron as an actor. That's a dream come true, and Tim Miller, who's just the nicest guy and a great, fresh, filmmaker, VFX guy who's been in the business for such a long time, and now he's, directing movies. And
was James Cameron on set for a fair amount of the shoot?
No, because he was shooting Avatar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he was very present. We'd get new pages every day with his, rewrites and dialogue changes and stuff. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So he's shooting Avatar and rewriting Dark Fate.
James Cameron, baby. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Talk about who you play in the film.
Well, I play Diego, which is kind of complicated. It's kind of confusing. It's the first time this has ever happened to me where Diego plays Diego. My character is Diego Ramos, a guy from Mexico City, who is Dani's older brother, played by Natalia Reyes. And, they're just a normal family, working class family from Mexico City. Even though I'm the older brother, I'm kind of a, mess. So she really is like the one in charge, and she's very responsible and all about work and speaking English so we can, find a better life. My character doesn't care. He's just, he cares about music and just, is a carefree kind of guy, which was fun to play. And then, this Terminator comes out of nowhere and starts chasing us. But I think something that was very important that Tim did great, and he says this, I'm going to steal his line from him. It's great if you have explosions and CGI and special effects. People have seen pretty much everything at this point. If you don't care about the characters that are in the explosions, the movie doesn't work. So that entire first act is really all about, the setup of what the world is, and especially who these characters are. and what they're dealing with before the Terminator comes out of nowhere, which is, I think, something that James did so well in T1 and T2.
One of the things that's wild about Terminator Dark Fate is its commitment to sort of telling a story within the immigration debate that we're having right now. It's shocking that a humongous studio movie would engage in that conversation. What was it like for you as an actor from Mexico City who gets to participate in a movie like this? I mean, there are many. I mean, the fact that it's just about a middle-class family, which is something that we rarely see in American movies when we're depicting Mexicans or Mexican Americans, and then the fact that there's a huge action sequence at a border facility. You know, there's a whole element of the movie that is all wrapped up in this conversation.
And Tim did a great job because he shows it. He doesn't give too much explanation. It's, you know, whoever goes and watches the movie, like, you'll see those little things. You'll go like, wow, like, this is happening here, and they mentioned this. But there's not, you know, the images alone tell you everything that you need to know. Well, being Mexican and being the only Mexican in this production, because we shot it in Madrid and in Budapest, it was actually really funny because when I first landed, I think I worked more as the Mexican police officer on set, making sure that everything was authentic. Because Tim was like, okay, Diego, like, I really want to be respectful towards, you know, and make it look authentic. You're the only Mexican dude here. This is supposed to be Mexico City, so I want you to meet with this department head, that department head, blah, 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 and just tell me what you think. I mean, that doesn't happen. You know, when you show up at these big movies, it's really, you just, you know, make sure you arrive 10 minutes earlier.
There's Crafty,
There's Crafty, here are your lines, and you're kind of like a robot. You just go in, you say your lines, and then you go to sleep, and that's it. Here, it wasn't the case. He was such a collaborative guy. I was like, you know, and then, like I said, I found myself doing more work offset, you know, making sure that all the Spaniards had the right Mexican accent when we spoke Spanish, and, you know, and Natalia and I, Natalia is Dani, you know, like, we really wanted it to feel as authentic as possible because we felt it was great that it was such a Latin-heavy cast in major parts, not the sidekick or the funny guy, and we just wanted to do it right, to make it authentic. So even the parts where we switch from English to Spanish, like, we really thought it out of how can we make that a smooth transition. We're past the fact of, you know, oh, we're shooting in Mexico, give the guy a burrito, a donkey, and a taco, and that's Mexico. You know, we're
just
just
like, would they switch from Spanish to English in this moment? Why are they doing that?
So, you know, we came up with a very, you know, easy solution, which was, you know, Dani wants to get out of Mexico, and she thinks that, I mean, like most, you know, people who cross the border, they're trying to find a better life. And you have to speak English, you know, for more job opportunities, whether it's in Mexico or not. And my character doesn't care. So she's kind of trying to force me to, hey, like, come on, dude, like, let's practice English. Like, you want to be a singer and, like, you want to have a good career, well, it'll only be better if you, you know, speak some English, right? And, you know, just little things like that to justify why this all happened. So, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, the first day of shooting, we got to Madrid. The whole neighborhood was turned into Mexico City. The cabs, the public transportation, 700 people on set. It even smelled like Mexico City.
Yeah, what is it like working on a movie like this? Because this movie feels humongous. I mean, the opening action sequence alone, the car chase, which is in a lot of ways a callback to Terminator 2 and the amazing car chase in the first act of Terminator 2. I imagine that took weeks and weeks and weeks to shoot.
I mean, inside baseball, you normally, when you're shooting a movie, a day's work is based off the pages that you shoot, right? You know, in TV shows, you normally do 5, 6 pages. It all depends. Here, there were days where we only shot an eighth of a page. 12 hours shooting an eighth of a page. Multiple setups, 50 setups. Shooting the same eighth of, and for that car chase sequence, like, we shot it in the south of Spain. It was 115 degrees in this highway pavement. Yeah, made it even hotter. Fly-infested place. So I think most of the CGI went to take out those flies. And yeah, it was nuts. And there'd be moments where, Tim would come up and go, okay, so we're shooting the part after the second turn, the second crash. You do, and we're like, wait, what? What? Because the sequence is like
Because
5
you
minutes
have to
long.
know. No one ever really talks about that when it comes to car chases and stuff like that. Which is that you, as the actor, I mean, a bad car chase in a movie is the actor is just going like this and going, whoa, whoa. Whereas a good one, everything is sort of coordinated with the exact movements of the cars in the exterior. So you have to know exactly what's happening, as the director does too.
And you're not shooting it in order.
Yeah.
Right? So you maybe the first day it's, the middle part of it. So like I said, there's 16 crashes and turns. So he goes, okay, in the totality of the thing. But when Tim goes up and goes, okay, this is after the third turn, you're just like, wait, that's why they do something called a previs, which Tim, does so well, which is a CGI version of how it's going to end up looking like. So
he can show you what.
He'll bring an iPad out and he'll show you, okay, so this is how it's going to look like. This is the bit that we're shooting right now. And it's literally you're shooting a second. It's that reaction that he needs. And
Is that hard?
Yeah, very hard.
For you to be like, okay, so I just need to do a reaction. It's a 1 second shot. How do you get yourself to that place? Imagine you still want it to feel real for yourself while you're doing it.
Well, I mean, being in that pickup truck with no AC, 115 degrees, that was pretty real. And all those flies, I mean, we were already in situation. Then it was mainly just knowing what part we were shooting. So it was 3 weeks over a span of maybe 2 months that we were shooting that sequence alone. So just knowing what bit and really trusting our director, because when you're shooting a green screen, it's a different world. You're just in a dark room with green screens behind you, and you have no idea how it's going to look like. So you really. I geeked out a bit with Tim, because I love visual effects and I just find it fascinating how that whole world works. And I go on set even the days that I wasn't shooting just to try to understand how his mind worked and what the people were doing, because it was such a big crew. It's the biggest crew I've ever. I mean, 700 people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is insane. There's normally, I don't know, maybe 50 people and that's big. So yeah, I mean, just that's what I did to try to understand what we were doing.
Does that feel like more pressure than 50 people when there's 700 people? Because when they call action, it's not that all 700 people are watching to get the shot done, but all 700 people have put some amount of work into that moment where
so much work.
They call action for you.
So much work. I mean, that's really, I think, I'd love for people to go on a movie set, because even when my family goes, they go, wow, like this is really what it's like, huh? Like it's a different world. And yes, there's 700 people that have been working on this, so hard, and during pre-production, and then while we're shooting, and then post. So yeah, I mean, making movies is the ultimate team effort, and that's my favorite part of it. That collaboration and. Even knowing how the focus puller is able to capture that moment, that specific moment. It's amazing.
One of my favorite actors working right now, Mackenzie Davis. I think she's so fantastic. What was it like doing some scenes with her? Yeah.
Mackenzie's the best. First off, the amount of work that she went through for this role is unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean,
watching the movie, you're kind of like, man, they put her through the ringer for this.
But right, I mean, she would wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. every day, work out before going to set, then go to set and be in hair and makeup for 3 hours for all the prosthetics you see, and then shoot 12 hours for 6 months, and then she was on a crazy diet, so She
How do you interact with the person who is going through that first 6 months? Is every interaction with them like, hi, how are you?
You look amazing today. Your biceps look insane.
How we doing today? Doing okay?
Yeah, I mean, she was great. She was really, really nice, you know. And now that she's off of it, she's so much nicer. No. Mackenzie was always a sweetheart, and you know, it's funny because she's so tall and so intimidating, but she's such a nice person. Everyone in this movie was great. Linda was amazing. She's very intimidating, and you know, as badass as it gets. And having her back, I think, really is what's going to make this movie stand out. You know,
her scenes with Schwarzenegger are pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, because there's been so many Terminator movies since T1 and T2 that people are like, wait, is this just another Terminator movie? And no, this is the sequel to T2 with James Cameron back. He hasn't been involved in any of the other movies since T2. Linda, Schwarzenegger, like all the key ingredients that made those movies so great, told by Tim and his new vision. You know, and by the way, I still haven't seen the film, and I'm just like, it's amazing. Go watch it. No, I've seen clips, but I'm waiting to see it in, you know, the movie theater, IMAX, to really have the full experience. I feel this is one of those movies that I'd go watch it, and it's not because I'm in it. Right. You know?
Yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I think we have time for a couple questions. Who has a question? Right here.
Hi.
Hey, happy Halloween, by the way.
You too. I feel like I'm the only person in New York who's festive.
I know. I try to.
For you, you look great. It's great.
Black and red. I was like, you know.
Your color scheme is fantastic. So, in honor of Halloween, have you ever had any sort of paranormal or ghost experiences in your own life?
That is a good question. Yes, I feel like as a kid, I was. Yeah, I mean, I watched too many R-rated movies without, you know, just, you know, with my friends, and I got freaked out big time. So now I can't watch scary movies at all. It'll really, like, I won't sleep. I'm serious. So, yes, yeah, as a kid, for sure.
One more.
Hi, I wanted to know, how did you prepare for the role of Luis Miguel? And is there going to be a second season?
Where are you guys from?
I'm from Colombia.
Colombia?
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Saludos a todos por allá.
Sí, gracias.
Man, that's the craziest role I've ever done. And regarding the preparation, it was really a year of not doing anything else but prepping for that role. Luis Miguel is the biggest Latin singer of all time. He's kind of like our Frank Sinatra meets Elvis Presley. Like and he actually did a duet with Frank Sinatra before Frank passed. And a phenomenal singer, insane. So it was a lot of dieting, you know, a lot of vocal lessons, coaching. I went to Madrid with my acting coach, Juan Carlos Coraza, who's amazing. He works with Javier Bardem, and just hours and hours and hours of watching concerts, YouTube videos of him throughout various ages to be able to not only play him right, but be accurate to the ages I was playing him in. And regarding season 2, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it does happen. We don't know yet, but you know, I learned so much doing that I had so much fun that I hope it does come back.
We are rooting for it.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Diego, congratulations on Terminator Dark Fate, man. Pretty amazing stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
of course.
So much.
Thank you so much for being here. Dark Fate today, I think it opens. Today and tonight and tomorrow, right?
November 1st.
Amazing.
Yeah, so tonight.
So tonight, yeah.
Go watch it tonight, and if, you know, you might see me in one of the theaters, by the way. just checking it out.
Chilling in the back. Diego Boneta, everybody, let's hear it.